All right, next into our 2017 Hall of Fame class for the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame. For years, I emceed the Denver Athletic Club Athlete of the Year banquet. And every year, the same gentleman from Pakistan would get up at dinner and he would sing America the Beautiful with all of his heart. It was a pretty amazing sight, and you could tell just how much being in America meant to Hashim Khan. He started playing squash as a very young boy in Pakistan and didn't wear shoes on a court until he was in his 30s. That was when the Pakistan government sponsored him in a tournament. From there, he went on to become pretty much a legend in squash worldwide. He moved here to Denver in 1973 with his family, became the pro at the DAC, and he has just been, he wrote history with squash ever since then. Take a look at the video.
Hello, how are you?
I am good.
Nice to see you.
He was believed to be over 100 when he passed away, but what is certain is that he was the best that the sport of squash had ever seen.
I'm born, you will control the game.
Hashim Khan grew up in Pakistan and learned to play the game as a ball boy for British officers. He was at least 36 years old when he won squash's biggest tournament in Great Britain, but he was really just starting. He was the patriarch of a family that ruled the sport and seemed ageless on the court.
I'm very lucky to still get a good health in my age.
Herbert Warren Wind once wrote, "The more I think about it, the more firmly convinced I am that the greatest athlete for his age the world has ever seen may well be Hashim Khan, the Pakistani squash player." He came to Colorado and the DAC in 1973, which was the squash equivalent of Elvis moving to Denver and building Graceland here. Hashim Khan was the biggest name the sport ever knew, and tonight that name also graces the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame.
Accepting tonight for his father, Hashim Khan, is Salim Khan. Salim, come on up.
I've got a little thing written here, so I'll kind of try to stay on script. I'm Sam Khan, and I'm Hashim's fifth son of 12 children. And I'd like to just say a few things about my dad. And he had an amazing life, and I'd like to share some stories about what he did and where he came from. He was born in near the Khyber Pass at the early part of the last century. It was British colonial India, and he was orphaned or fatherless at the age of 11, and he had to leave school to help support his mother and 3 siblings. And after school, he discovered squash at the British Officers Club, and he would spend long days in the tropical sun sitting on the back wall working as a ball boy, where he received a pay of one penny a day to sit up there and retrieve balls so that the players could continue their game. And between matches during the middle of the afternoon, in the heat of the sun, he would get on court and play barefoot, practice by himself, and on concrete floors. Hashim would spend countless hours with broken rackets and balls, and just practice. And he even played by moonlight. He was so into the game. So anyway, many years later, he became a very accomplished player and was given the opportunity to compete on the international stage. And through a variety of machinations, he had the opportunity to compete in England at the British Open, which is the unofficial world championship. And he was at approximately, they said in the video, was 36, but since he didn't have a birth certificate, I think he underplayed it, and we believe he was 37 years old at the time. But anyway, he somehow made it to the finals, and he went up against Mahmoud Karim, who was considered the greatest champion in the history of the game. He was a 5-time world champion. He's from Egypt. And my father, who had never left the country, first time he didn't know the language, British royalty was up there, Prince Philip was up there watching the matches, and he came out very nervous. And the game of squash is played to 9 points, and it's the best 3 out of 5. He was a little nervous, and he lost the first 5 points. And he was down 5-0, and they had this one point where my father was in the back of the court, and he fell down and dropped his racket, and he was on his knees, and the ball ended up in the front of the court, and Mahmoud hit a beautiful little drop. So it's a 32-foot long court. And next thing you know, you see this, you hear the screech of rubber, and you see this brown blur, and he jumps through Kareem's legs and retrieves the ball and wins the point. And the audience was stunned, and they were speechless for a minute. And from that point on, Hashim won the match and the world title 9-5, 9-0, 9-0. But it gets a little better here, okay? So he, after winning the title for 3 or 4 years, he decides, you know, I'm getting a little long in the tooth, you know, he's about 40 years old, and he said, I think I need somebody to take over for me. So he approached his younger brother, Azam, who we believe is 10 years younger, give or take. And he said to Azam, he says, look, Azam, I want you to be the next champion for me. I'm getting a little old, and I want you to take over for me. So anyway, Azam said, well, that's a wonderful idea, Hashim, but I've never played squash before. You know? So Hashim said, no problem. I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna practice with you every single day, and we'll get you ready for it. So he and Azam played every single day for the whole year, every single day, every afternoon. And he took Hashim to the tournament, to the British Open the next year, and Azam played Hashim in the finals that year. And Azam went on to win 4 world championships of his own. And it's amazing. He was, you know, Hashim stood 5'5", weighing 110 pounds. He was the fastest player that the game had ever seen. There was not a shot that he couldn't return. And he went on to win 7 world titles, the last one at the approximate age of 44. So he continued to play squash and compete in age-level tournaments, winning well into his 70s, and we believe he won like 30 titles or so. But what he also did is he mentored members of the family, and they went on to win, various cousins, uncles, and so forth, went on to win 40 world championships over the next 50 years. So anyway, thank you. You know, I asked myself, why, after 60 years after his last title, why was he so beloved and so received by many of his fans, and people from all over the world would come to visit him at the DAC and come to be mentored and just be in his presence. Well, I think it was just his personality. He just loved the game. He had an awesome smile every time he met somebody. He was very accepting to all of his fans. He was willing to talk to you whether you were just a beginner player or a championship player. You were the same to him. And I remember that people would come to visit him and train with him at the DAC for many years, and not only would they spend time with him on the court, but he would invariably invite him over to dinner at my parents' house, where my mother would cook some delicious curry, which was the best in the world. But anyway, I just want to close by thanking the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame for this great honor, and to be able to share it with all these great champions this year is really quite a treat. And I know that Hashim couldn't be with us tonight, obviously, but I know he's up there somewhere with a big smile, and he's very proud. Thank you.